a.m., when the entire world is lost in deep sleep.
One person opens their eyes.
But this isn't just any ordinary person.
This is someone who puts their life on the line every single day, flying at 50,000 feet in the sky, where there's no oxygen, where the temperature drops to minus 50 degrees,
where one tiny mistake means death. Today, you'll witness the complete day of a fighter pilot.
A day that begins in darkness and ends after conquering the skies. This is the story of Squadron Leader Vikram,
a warrior who wakes up every morning knowing that it might be his last. So get ready, because today's journey will be extreme,
dangerous,
and absolutely real.
The alarm rings at AM, but Vikram's alarm isn't any normal alarm. It's the sound of a fighter jet engine.
Because a pilot must remember every moment where their real world exists. Vikram gets up instantly. No laziness, no excuses.
He goes to the bathroom, looks at himself in the mirror, and asks himself one question. Are you ready to die today?
Sounds strange, doesn't it? But this is the reality of fighter pilots. Every single day, they must ask themselves this question.
Because when you're flying at 1,500 kilometers per hour,
when you're experiencing 9 grams force where your
blood rushes from your brain to your feet,
when you enter enemy territory alone,
that's when this question becomes the most important.
Vikram freshens up and puts on his flight suit. This suit isn't just normal clothing.
It has sensors, a cooling system, survival equipment built in. If the plane crashes, this suit becomes his first line of defense. Next, he heads to the medical room. Before every flight, pilots undergo a medical check. The doctor checks his blood pressure, monitors his heart rate, tests his vision.
Vikram, how was your sleep last night?
The doctor asks.
Sir, 6 hours.
Solid sleep.
Any tension? Any stress? No, sir. All clear. This is crucial.
Because if a pilot hasn't slept properly, if their mind is distracted, if their body isn't 100% fit,
they won't be allowed to fly. Because one small mistake can destroy a $300 million fighter jet in seconds.
The doctor checks Vikram's G tolerance. You see, when a fighter jet takes sharp turns,
the force on the pilot's body becomes 9 times their normal weight. Imagine if you weigh 70 kilograms.
Suddenly, you feel like you weigh 630 kilograms.
Your blood, your organs, everything gets crushed.
Many pilots lose consciousness.
Their vision goes black. That's why this test is essential.
All clear, Vikram. You're good to go. Now comes the most important part of the day, the briefing.
Vikram enters a dark room where his entire squadron is present.
12 pilots, all elite, all ready to risk everything. The commanding officer enters.
Everyone stands. The room goes silent.
Good morning, gentlemen. Today's mission is critical.
A massive screen lights up behind him. A map appears. Enemy territory.
Radar installations. Anti-aircraft missiles. Intelligence reports suggest enemy movement near the border. Your mission?
Penetrate their airspace, gather reconnaissance, and return safely. The enemy has S-4O missile systems.
One lock on,
and you have 8 seconds before the missile hits you.
8 seconds. That's all.
8 seconds to dodge a missile traveling at Mach 6.
The CO continues. Weather conditions are poor.
Cloud cover at 15,000 feet. Visibility near zero.
Radio silence must be maintained once you cross the border. If you get shot down, you're in enemy territory.
Extraction will take 48 hours minimum.
48 hours alone in enemy territory.
Every pilot in that room knows what that means. Capture, torture, interrogation, or worse. Vikram, you'll be flying lead, call sign
Thunder 1. Your wingman will be Captain Arjun, call sign Thunder 2.
Vikram nods. Being the lead means the entire responsibility falls on his shoulders.
Every decision, every maneuver, every life.
His responsibility.
The briefing continues for 45 minutes. Every detail is covered.
Fuel calculations, emergency protocols, ejection procedures, communication codes. Nothing is left to chance. Vikram walks toward the hangar. The sun is just beginning to rise, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink.
But Vikram isn't looking at the beauty. His eyes are fixed on his machine. There she stands.
The Sukhoi Su-30 MKI. 23 meters long, 73 feet wingspan.
Capable of carrying 8,000 kilograms of weapons.
She's not just a machine.
She's his partner, his protector, his only chance of survival. The ground crew has been working on her since AM. Every bolt checked, every wire tested, every weapon loaded with precision. Chief Technician Sharma approaches Vikram.
Sir, aircraft is 100% ready. Fuel tanks full. Weapons systems online. All diagnostics green.
But Vikram doesn't just trust the report. He does his own inspection.
He walks around the aircraft, checking every panel.
Every missile, every surface. He looks at the tires. One tiny crack and a tire can explode during landing at 250 kilometers per hour.
He climbs up and checks the cockpit.
The ejection seat.
His last resort if everything goes wrong.
He checks the parachute pack, the survival kit underneath the seat. Inside that kit,
a pistol, emergency rations, water purification tablets, a radio beacon,
and one photograph of his family. That photograph, he doesn't look at it often.
Because once you start thinking about family before a dangerous mission, emotions can cloud your judgment. And in the sky, emotions kill.
In the crew room, Vikram begins the suiting up process. First comes the G-suit, tight pants with bladders that inflate during high G maneuvers to prevent
blood from pooling in the legs.
Then the survival vest, packed with flares, a knife, first aid supplies, and an emergency radio. Next, the harness. This connects him to the ejection seat.
If he needs to eject, this harness must be perfect, or the force of ejection could break his spine.
Then comes the helmet. Not just any helmet.
It has a heads-up display, night vision capability, and oxygen supply.
It weighs 2 kilograms,
and wearing it for 4 hours continuously gives you neck pain for days.
But there's no choice. Vikram's hands are steady as he connects all the equipment. No trembling, no nervousness.
20 minutes later, he's fully suited.
He looks more like an astronaut than a pilot.
Captain Arjun, his wingman, gives him a nod.
No words needed.
They've flown together for 5 years.
They trust each other with their lives. The walk from the crew room to the aircraft is only 200 meters. But for Vikram, these are the longest 100 meters. With every step, his heart beats a little faster. Not from fear, but from adrenaline. Ground crew salutes as he approaches. He salutes back. These young men and women work 16-hour shifts to keep these machines flying. They deserve respect. He climbs the ladder to the cockpit.
The seat is custom molded to his body.
He straps in 5-point harness, tight enough to keep him secure during 9 ground maneuvers. The ground crew helps him connect his oxygen supply,
his communication cables, his G-suit hoses.
Thunder 1, ready for startup.
The voice crackles in his headset.
Thunder 1, ready.
He flips switches in sequence.
Battery on.
Hydraulics check. Fuel pump check.
Then the moment he lives for. Engine start. He pushes the throttle forward slightly.
The engines roar to life. The entire aircraft vibrates. 27,000 pounds of thrust from each engine.
The sound is deafening, even inside the helmet. All around him, instruments light up. Multifunction displays show weapon status, fuel quantity, navigation data.
Everything is green.
Tower, Thunder 1, request taxi clearance. Thunder 1, cleared to taxi, runway to 7. He releases the brakes. The 38-ton machine begins to roll. At the end of the runway, Vikram performs final checks.
Flight controls check. Engine parameters
check. Weapons armed and ready.
Tower, Thunder 1, ready for departure.
Thunder 1 cleared for takeoff.
Winds to 170 at 15 knots. Good speed. Vikram takes a deep breath. This is it.
He pushes the throttle to full military power.
The engines scream.
The aircraft accelerates.
100 kilometers per hour. 150. 200. At 280 kilometers per hour, he pulls back on the stick.
The nose lifts. The ground drops away. They're airborne. Gear up, flaps up. He pulls the stick back harder, pointing the nose at a 60-degree angle. The aircraft climbs like a rocket. In 45 seconds, they're at 10,000 feet. In 2 minutes, they're at 30,000 feet. The world below becomes tiny. Cities look like circuit boards. Rivers look like silver threads.
And above,
nothing but endless blue sky. Thunder 2, forming up.
Arjun's voice comes through. Vikram looks to his right.
Arjun's aircraft slides into formation, just 50 feet away.
Flying this close at 800 kilometers per hour requires absolute precision.
Thunder formation. You are approaching the border. Maintain radio silence from this point. Good luck.
Vikram doesn't respond.
Radio silence is absolute.
Even a 1-second transmission can give away their position to enemy radar.
They cross the border at 45,000 feet.
Below them, mountains stretch endlessly.
Somewhere down there, enemy soldiers are watching their radar screens, looking for intruders like him.
Vikram's eyes scan his instruments constantly. The radar warning receiver. It shows any enemy radar trying to lock onto them. Right now, it's clear. But that can change in a heartbeat. They fly for 20 minutes.
The landscape changes.
They're deep in enemy territory now.
If something goes wrong here, there's no quick rescue. They're on their own. Suddenly, a beep. Vikram's heart skips. The RWR lights up. Enemy radar has detected them. Beep, beep, beep. The sound gets faster. That means the enemy is trying to lock on.
Once they achieve lock, they'll fire missiles. Vikram doesn't panic. He's trained for this. He immediately descends, dropping 5,000 feet in seconds. The sudden descent creates negative Gs. His body becomes weightless, straining against the harness.
The beeping stops.
They've broken the radar lock by changing altitude rapidly.
The beeping stops.
They've broken the radar lock by changing altitude rapidly.
But now they're lower, more visible.
He needs to complete the reconnaissance quickly and get out. He activates the targeting pod.
High-resolution cameras begin capturing images of enemy installations.
Roads, bunkers, vehicle movements.
Everything being recorded. Then it happens.
The worst sound a pilot can hear.
Beep. Continuous tone. Missile lock. Enemy has fired. Thunder 1 defending.
Vikram calls out, breaking radio silence. Survival is more important than stealth now.
He throws the aircraft into a violent turn.
7 Gs.
8 Gs.
His vision starts to narrow.
The G-suit inflates, squeezing his legs and abdomen, forcing blood to his brain. But it's not enough.
His peripheral vision goes grey. He grunts, tensing every muscle in his body, forcing blood to his head.
Can't black out, not now.
He punches out chaff and flares, metallic strips, and burning magnesium designed to confuse the missile.
The missile streaks past, missing by 300 meters.
But there's another one coming.
Beep.
Vikram goes vertical, pointing straight up, full afterburner.
The aircraft accelerates brutally. 9 Gs now. His body weighs over 600 kilograms.
Every breath is a struggle.
His G-suit is inflated to maximum, cutting off circulation to his legs.
He can't sustain this. Human body can only handle 9 Gs for a few seconds.
At 50,000 feet, he rolls inverted and pulls.
Now he's diving straight down, building speed. 1,100 kilometers per hour. 1,400. 1,500.
The missile can't match his maneuver.
It loses lock and self-destructs. Vikram levels out at 20,000 feet, breathing hard. That was close.
Too close. Thunder 2 status. He calls out. Thunder 2, defending.
Arjun's strained voice responds. Vikram looks back.
Arjun is engaged with 2 enemy aircraft. MiG-29S. They're trying to box him in. No time to think.
Vikram banks hard, coming around behind one of the MiGs. His targeting computer acquires the enemy aircraft. A green diamond appears on his heads-up display. Fox 2, he calls, firing a heat-seeking missile.
The missile leaps off the rail, trailing white smoke. It covers the distance in 4 seconds.
The MiG tries to evade, but it's too late.
The missile impacts.
A fireball blooms in the sky. The second MiG breaks off, running for home.
Thunder 2, clear. Thanks for the save.
Thunder 1, roger. Let's go home. They cross back into friendly airspace. The tension doesn't fully leave until they see their home base ahead. Vikram calls the tower. Tower, Thunder formation, requesting landing clearance.
Thunder formation. Cleared to land. Runway to 7.
Welcome home. Vikram sets up for landing.
Gear down. 3 green lights.
Flaps down.
Speed reducing. 400.
350. 300.
He crosses the runway threshold at 280 kilometers per hour. Nose up slightly. Touchdown.
The main wheels kiss the runway.
He deploys the drag chute. The massive parachute blossoms behind the aircraft, slowing them down rapidly.
Aircraft stopped. Engines spalling down. Mission complete.
As the canopy opens, hot air rushes in.
Vikram removes his helmet and oxygen mask. His hair is soaked with sweat.
His neck aches.
His body is exhausted, but he's alive. They're all alive.
The debriefing lasts 2 hours.
Every second of the mission is analyzed. What went right? What went wrong? What could be improved? The reconnaissance data is already being analyzed by intelligence officers.
The images Vikram captured will help plan future operations. Good work today, Vikram, the CEO says. That missile evasion was textbook. And the kill, clean.
Vikram nods, but he doesn't celebrate. Taking a life, even an enemy's, is never something to celebrate. It's necessary, but never enjoyable. After debrief comes lunch, but Vikram barely eats. The adrenaline is wearing off, and exhaustion is setting in. Then comes physical training. Even after a combat mission, training continues. Pilots must maintain peak physical condition. Running, strength training, swimming. The afternoon is as demanding as the morning.
At PM, there's simulator training, practicing emergency scenarios, engine failure, hydraulic failure, bird strikes, mid-air collisions, every possible disaster, practiced until the responses become automatic. By PM, Vikram is finally free, but he doesn't go home yet. He goes back to the hangar, to his aircraft. He thanks the ground crew. He does a walk around, checking for any damage from today's mission.
There are stress marks on the wings from those high-G maneuvers.
The ground crew will inspect them thoroughly tonight.
Finally, Vikram returns to his quarters.
A small room, simple bed, a desk with photos,
His family, his parents, his wife.
his daughter. He picks up his phone. Misses calls from his wife, but he can't tell her where he was today. Can't tell her he was fired upon. Can't tell her he destroyed an enemy aircraft. All she knows is that he's a fighter pilot. The rest is classified. He calls her back. Hi.
Yes, I'm fine.
Just a normal day.
Training. Paperwork, you know. How's Anaya?
She did well in her math test.
That's great. Tell her Papa is proud of her. I'll try to come home this weekend. I love you too. Bye.
He hangs up. Normal day. If only she knew.
Vikram lies in bed, staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow, he'll do it all again. Same routine, different mission.
Maybe tomorrow will be easier. Maybe it will be harder.
Maybe tomorrow he won't come back. But that's the life he chose.
That's the life of a fighter pilot.
Living on the edge, protecting a nation, conquering the skies.
As he closes his eyes, his last thought isn't about death or danger. It's about the feeling.
That incredible feeling of being at 50,000 feet.
Master of the sky, free and alive.
And for that feeling, everything is worth it.
This is the reality of a fighter pilot's day. Not glamorous, not easy.
But absolutely extraordinary.
Every time you see a fighter jet streak across the sky, remember, inside that machine is a warrior.
Someone who chose to live every day like it might be their last.
Someone who gave up normal life to protect ours. Silent warriors. The people who sacrifice everything so we can sleep peacefully at night.
If this story moved you, if you now understand what these warriors go through every single day,
then hit that like button.
Subscribe to Silent Warriors for more incredible real-life stories.